Hi, I'm Lena, and I've been making these promo books for a while now. I did one for Eddie, 3 actually if you count these mini promos he did on being the elite, a William Regal one, of course one for Raven, and an absolute massive one for Bryan Danielson. And the lovely people on the Squared Circle Subreddit keep asking for tutorials, so I thought I'd show you all how I make them. Here's what you're gonna need. I always like to brainstorm some ideas before I sit down. Scrolling Pinterest also helps get your creative juices flowing. It's also super helpful to keep some notes in case you want to revisit a project later. Open your writing software of choice. I'm using Word, but as long as you can save it as a PDF, you'll be fine. Next, we're going to add a title page. You can change the title later if you want. And on the next page, I like to add some data for the bind, where I got the transcripts from, which fonts I used when I did it, and of course, my contact information in case it ever gets lost. I also like to add a quote on the next page, which also gives me enough space for an autograph if I ever end up meeting the wrestler. Now add a blank page, because this book will be printed double-sided. And then I add a little edit I made or some artwork I found, or whatever I want, really. For my William Regal bind, I photoshopped him into a playing card, and for my Danielson bind, I edited him into a page from a medieval manuscript. For this one, I was inspired by some tarot cards I'd seen, so I quickly whipped something up in Canva. Just have some fun with it. Then we add another blank page and a table of contents. And now, this is really important, we're gonna add a page break to separate the sections of our book. This will help us later when we're formatting our page numbers and our page headers. And now it's time to create some styles. I don't want to clutter the book with 17 different fonts, so I'm just choosing 2, one for the header and one for the text. So a fun one and a more basic, readable one. This book will be for Hangman Adam Page, so I picked Cowboy Outlaw and my regular Bell MT. And now it's already time to create a title page for our first promo. Add a header and create a header style. I colored it blue to easily distinguish it from the rest of the text while we're editing. We'll later change everything back to black. I also wanted to add a cute border to make everything feel a little more cowboyish. In order to make formatting a little easier, I put the header in a text box. Cage match gives us a bunch of info, so I'm adding all that, and I'm also creating a style for this as well. This time I'm coloring it green. I also added a little design element at the bottom so the header doesn't look too busy. Add a page break and paste your promo. Now create a style for the wrestler's name. I like to have it centered and thicker than the dialogue. Now create another style for the dialogue itself. Create a style for the stage directions, as I like to call them, or descriptions of everything that's not dialogue. I like to have it italicized. I personally like to watch the promo and check that there are no mistakes. Rinse and repeat for every promo. When that's done, we can start formatting the rest. Go to the header on your very first promo right after our section break and double-click to open the header tools. Unlink the header from the previous section and check the box Different Odd and Even Pages. Now we can add the title of our book in one header and the wrestler's name in the other. Click the footer and unlink it as well. Format how you want your page numbers to look and add page numbers. Recheck everything. I like to zoom out and make sure everything looks nice and even. Change all font colors back to black and export as a PDF. Now we use a handy dandy tool called Bookbinder.js, which does all the formatting for us. Upload your PDF, scroll down and check Octavo, or whatever layout you want to print. I like to have a little more space for a clean cut, so I add a few points to the foredge margin. I also like to add cut and fold lines. My standard signature length for these binds is 2, as in 2 full A4 pages. There's 8 pages per side, double printed, that's 16, times 2, that's 32. So that would be 32 pages per signature. Now you can preview your output, add flyleafs to make sure that there's an even number of pages per signature, and then you can generate your output and start printing. I use recycled paper made from grass because I can't get uncoated paper stocks where I live, and I just really love the look of it. Print, cut, and sort into signatures. Now fold those signatures in half. I like to use bone folder, and I also put a heavy book on top of them for about an hour just to get those folds nice and crisp. I wanted to add something fun, so I decided to burn the title page of the promo where Hangman burns Swerve's house and almost set my own house on fire. Now let's get to punching. I have this punching cradle and I use washi tape so I don't forget which holes to punch through. Then we're sewing our signatures together starting from the bottom. I like to use a French link stitch for this, but you can totally use a saddle stitch if you want. I'll put some stitching tutorials in my bio that explain this better than I ever could. Afterwards, we can put our sewn text block into our book press and apply some bookbinder's glue to the spine. Once that is dry, we can cut our text block. This is optional, but I feel like it really gives it the look of a proper book. It is also super satisfying. Once that is done, we can pick our end papers, and I want to be totally honest, this entire bind was really inspired by this paper my lovely neighbor got me from a museum gift shop in Berlin while I was cat-sitting for her. I looked at it and I was like, yeehaw, this is perfect for Hangman. Don't you just love it when people just get you? I'm gluing the end papers to the text block, making sure it's the right way up. And then I'm putting it back into the press. While that dries, we can attach our end bands and add a ribbon bookmark. And finally, we're gluing some mold to our spine. This is going to reinforce the spine, add stability, and allow our text block to remain flexible. I normally let this dry overnight, and that is our text block done. Woohoo! Now let's do the cover. For this, we're going to have to do some math. We're measuring our text block's width and height, as well as the width of our spine. Now adding 6mm to our height and 0.2mm to our width. Bindery Bindery explains this incredibly well. Cut this out of 3mm thick cardboard and glue it to your book cloth. For my bigger binds, I'd normally leave a 2cm border, but for these smaller binds, 1cm is plenty. I use these spacers, but you can also just measure out your 7mm hinge width with a regular ruler. Glue everything down, turn it over, smooth everything out with your bone folder, and turn back over and cut your corners. Then glue and fold over, starting with a long edge. While that dries, we can design our cover. I use heat transfer vinyl for this, but you can literally do whatever you want. When I started out, I embroidered stuff onto covers. You can paint your cover, use a hot foil quill, stickers, iron-on patches, stamps, or use printable iron-on paper. Or decorate your cover using metal book corners. Or do an ottoman bind with a magnetic closure in the shape of a dragon wing, if you're crazy like me. But seriously, the world is your oyster. And now we can attach our text block to our cover. I use some baking paper to make sure I don't get any glue on my pages and so the moisture from the glue doesn't seep into my paper. Do that on both sides and put everything back into the press. And finally, I'm just attaching a little charm to my ribbon bookmark. And there we go! I really love how it turned out, especially the burnt page. And if you love it too, I'm actually gonna be giving this one away because I made two. So if you want to win this one, like, subscribe, and leave a lovely comment, and I'm gonna be picking one person at the end of the week to send this little pocket promo to. Thanks again for all the love I've been getting, especially on Reddit. I was so scared to post my binds, but the internet wrestling community has been so kind, and I just wanted to give something back. Thanks for watching!